Welcome to the Mindset Lady. Today we are talking about another character from Love is Blind, Janina. And with Janina, I'm going to do something different this time. And not only we are going to talk about self-sabotaging behavior, but also we will talk about transactional analysis. It's a psychotherapy term, and I'm going to explain it in a very basic way. Don't worry, guys, but this will allow us to understand how we can better our communication with people, especially our partners. I just want to remind you that there will be some spoilers here, so if you haven't watched Love is Blind and if you plan to watch it, please stop it right here, go watch it, and then come back later. Also, I want to remind you that I am not a clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, so I'm not diagnosing anybody here, and I'm not trying to fix anybody here. My whole purpose is to create self-awareness so that we can reach our full potential. Also, what I see here is very limited. There are so many edits in these videos, so there is no way we know their story, their background, so there is no possible way to say exactly what's going on. But from some clips that we can tell from the body language, from the words, and from the choices that they make, and I want you to learn from this. Let's meet Janina. Janina is 25 years old, young and beautiful woman, and she's a business owner. Let's see what her first words are on the show.
I'm from Venezuela. Growing up, I was always like the sweet one. My mom called me like her dulce de leche. I taught myself English by reading. My mom told me that she would always like take me to bed and like I would have a book on my chest every single time.
Janina starts to date Damien, and their relationship gets deep really quickly after 5 dates. Now they are feeling like, okay, we are emotionally really connected. Let's look at Damien very quickly too. Damien is 27 years old and he is a general manager.
I want to find someone that just loves me and accepts me for everything that I am and everything that I'm not.
By listening both Janina's and Damien's intros, I just realized Janina talked about how she's from Venezuela, Caracas. She learned English by reading, and she was a very sweet child. Her mom loved her. From what we are reading from here is basically she's smart and she's sweet. So she's telling us that I'm smart and I'm sweet. It's not about what you're looking for in a relationship and why you are there. I would have loved to know more about why she's here and what kind of partner she's looking for. Maybe she said and they cut it, I don't know, but it was a not enough intro for me. In episode 2, on one of the dates, Damien tells Gigi that, hey, you told me before that something happened in your past made you feel like you're not beautiful. What was that? And let's see what Gigi is saying.
I guess moving here, America, I was different, you know, and then I got picked on a lot in high school. And for some reason, I just felt inadequate.
Feeling inadequate is a very big problem of most of us, maybe all of us actually. We feel inadequate somehow, and that comes from our childhood. If our parents were saying like, you did this again, you keep making the same mistakes, when are you gonna learn to, let's say, tidy your room? When are you get 100 from math exam? These kind of words hurt children, and they think that I'm not enough, I'm inadequate, and I will never be enough. And growing up, feeling this way, especially during the teenager years, in high school years, it's terrible. It's a new country and it's a new language, and you already feel inadequate. And we learn actually from the upcoming episodes that Janina's parents are divorced, and that kind of makes kids with divorced parents actually blame themselves for it. They take the blame for some reason, like the marriage didn't work because of me, or I did something wrong. If I was a better child, maybe they wouldn't get divorced, as if it was about them. But it's not. It's most of the time not about them. It's about the parents who are married. And if they don't communicate this to the children well, then they keep blaming themselves for this. So this divorce thing, plus being an immigrant in the United States, in a different country, was making feel her inadequate. And that kind of tells me that why she started the introduction by saying that I'm smart and I'm actually sweet, because she doesn't feel that people see her that way. She almost believes that people can see through her and her feeling of inadequacy. But besides that, I really enjoyed this conversation because they both open up and they all tell about their past insecurities and how that affected them or affecting them still. And they're very understanding to each other. I think it's a very sweet conversation. Let's move on.
It's scary to have this amount of emotions so fast. And it's not like me. I don't get attached quick.
That's the same thing with me too. But something that is kind of like in the back of my head.
Okay, I want to stop here before she says what she's supposed to say. How many times in the previous episodes we saw this, guys? Like when they are saying something important, or when they feel defensive, or when they feel like they need a barrier between them and the other person, they always go behind the couch. She did the same thing. That makes me think that she's about to say something that she feels very defensive about, something really bothering her, or maybe thinks that actually Damien is not gonna like it. Let's hear.
I self-sabotage all the time. But I realize that I do it when something that's too good to be true is happening to me, because my parents' divorce really fucked me up.
This is really cool of Janina because she's being very open and she's very in touch with her feelings. I really like that. She's aware of what she does. She is aware of why she does that, and she's kind of scared of it. She's like telling him with all openness. And the definition of self-sabotage is exactly that, right? We have been talking about this in the previous videos, and we talked about this book where it says that self-sabotage works in mysterious ways, and the most obvious one is you prevent your success or your happiness. You're gonna have the maximum happiness, and suddenly you find yourself doing something that will take your motivation down, your mood down, and you're not gonna enjoy that anymore. So she says that she tends to do this often. It's a good self-awareness, guys, and I guess we will see if this will happen or not. I also want to remind you that she said, my parents' divorce really effed me up. Do you remember one of the reasons why we self-sabotage? Because we feel fundamentally flawed, inadequate, and a divorce can even strengthen this feeling. Adding to this, you have been bullied in high school, so even though she's smart, even though she's beautiful, she feels still not enough, and she feels flawed. Even maybe she's thinking the divorce was because of her flaw, and she thinks this subconsciously, guys. This is like a child mind, and when we talk about transactional analysis in a few minutes, I'm going to explain what the child ego does to us. Janina and Damien finally meets each other and they like each other. But Janina says something interesting.
I love how Damien looks. I love it. I can stare at him forever. But my old habits would have been like, wait, now I'm doubting myself because I self-sabotage. And I didn't do that with Damien. I am so happy.
When you say, wait, now I'm doubting myself, which she hadn't, but she says that she used to do this and she didn't do this with Damien. Yes, this is kind of a self-sabotage, and the way we do it is worry. When you doubt yourself a lot, like, am I making the right decision? Or is this the right one? That could have been a better one. Should I take this step or not? You know that you love this person. You know that you're emotionally connected and you like their physical look. But you still question, like, what if I'm making a mistake? What if it's not going to work? And you're letting these thoughts take over, then you're self-sabotaging. But if you let these thoughts come and go, then you're a normal person. You have no problem because you're letting that happiness in. After meeting each other, then they go on vacation to Mexico. They are taking a boat cruise and they're enjoying the sunlight, but suddenly Janina does what she has been all along afraid of. Let's see how the conversation went and what could have been better.
Thinking that I don't understand. It's nice. It's an escape from the everyday.
What do you need to escape from?
Work and drama and everything else.
What do you mean drama?
I stop here because what do you mean drama? Okay guys, if you know you tend to self-sabotage, then you should know that you tend to worry about things that not a lot of people worry about. I feel like just like in Kelly and also in Jessica, Janina also has the fear of losing him and losing this relationship in the future because of her parents' divorce. Jessica's parents were also divorced, if you remember, and that affected her immensely. Damien says it's good to escape from reality. We always use this term, right? If, for example, Janina's colleague said something like that in the office, she wouldn't necessarily question it further. She would say, yeah, escaping from reality, right? Like from work and from other things, yada yada. But since Damien is saying this, it kind of started all these danger alerts on her mind who tend to self-sabotage, and she goes like, what do you need to escape from? Poor Damien makes the mistake of saying the drama. Work, the drama, and da 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 da. So this drama can be about anything, right? It can be about your family, it can be about your friends, like, you know, your dudes, maybe you just left where there was a problem. It can be a work issue, anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be about a girl or about a relationship or other things. So she goes like, what drama?
Yeah, it's gonna life, you know.
What drama?
Seriously, you make that sound really bad.
You sound really worried.
She goes like, you sound really worried. Actually, she's mirroring here. He doesn't sound worried. She's worried. And she's reflecting this on him.
I said I love being out here, away from everything, and then you like dug way too deep into it.
What do you mean? I'm just asking you questions.
And I answered. I said I was just enjoying living in the moment, being out here.
What are you escaping from?
Reality.
Okay, why?
What we see here, Janina keeps pushing and pushing. What do you mean? What did you mean? You don't listen to me. You know, I want an answer. You need to tell me what do you meant by drama.
So I said I'm enjoying being here with you and enjoying the moment. And you started going down this whole road of
What
overthinking
whole road?
everything.
I'm not overthinking. I'm just asking you a question. And if that
And
means that I'm
I've
overthinking
answered
it,
every question.
Okay.
You asked.
Okay.
So what did I not answer? What did I not answer?
Nothing.
So she tells that the reason why she kept pushing was because she wants open communication, and since the past she didn't have that kind of open communication with him, which might have truth in it. But the actual real reason that she is asking this question is to comfort herself. She needs to hear that there is no drama, everything is okay, and maybe, you know, she's gonna hear what he needs to say about like a work drama or something, and she's gonna feel better. Oh, okay, that's not a big drama enough to finish this relationship, and she's gonna be relaxed. So this is not only about communication, I think it's mostly about feeling that comforting yourself about what has been said. And let's talk about a little bit of transactional analysis here, because we are coming to those kind of conversations. Well, in transactional analysis, you have 3 ego states. One is the child, the second one is adult, and the third one is parent. So the child represents the thoughts and behaviors and the feelings that you learn as a child. Adult is basically a more pragmatic one. It assesses the current situation, what happened in the past and the future, and gives you a more realistic result. It's more like your current mind, but we usually don't listen to it. The third one is parent, about feelings and thoughts, what we learned from our parents, what we saw in our parents. And we took each state during the day multiple times, some of them more than the others. And also, there are 2 types of each, parent and child. Parent can be nurturing one, which is like more taking care of, more helping, and the other one is the criticizing parent. And the child ego could be a natural one or an adapted one. Let me give you an example. When you're cooking something, you spilled, and then suddenly your inner voice said, "Oh, you spilled it again." That's your parent. Then, after cooking, you decided to take a walk, and you're walking on the street and you're listening to music, and you suddenly decided to dance with the song. in front of people. That's the child in you. Another example. You are waiting in the bus line. The bus is late. The guy in front of you turns back to you and says that, this bus has always been late. I don't know what to do about this. We need to talk to municipality about this. He's in the parent state. And if you say, well, I was here yesterday and it was on time, and the day before it was on time too. Are you sure? Because I think they're doing fine. Maybe there's traffic today or there's some accident. So this is the adult talking, compares and gives a pragmatic solution. But if you were from the parent side, you would say like, I know, right? Someone needs to do something about this. If you were in the childlike mind, maybe you could say like, nah, I don't care. I have time, so. And according to Eric Berne, the father of transactional analysis, during the day when we talk to people, our parent, our adult, or our child talks to other people, parent, child, or adult. And why am I talking to you about this is because the whole idea is come to the adult level and finish the argument this way. Because let's say your husband asks you, honey, where is my tie? I can't find it. An adult ego state would say, I don't know. Or, do you want me to come and help? But a parent state answer would be like, wherever you left it last time. Or a child ego answer would be, how the hell am I supposed to know? Do you see how this would create a bad conversation now? And rather than picking parent and child in this case, picking adult would end a bad conversation without even starting. So here, why am I saying this? Because he's giving all the answers from the adult ego. He's just giving the facts. I said, I'm escaping drama. What do you mean by drama? I mean work and other things, life, all the escape from reality. Yeah, but what's the reality? So this questioning side of Janina is a very child ego. You know how children keep asking like, why? Why is this color? Why is this happening right now? Okay, but I don't understand. Why did you put this here now? They're trying to understand things, so to put the pieces together, because otherwise they feel anxious about it. It just doesn't make sense to them. So I feel like Gigi is on this child ego state, whereas very calmly Damien is trying to stay in the adult state, which actually ended up like Gigi getting frustrated and leaving the scene.
I communicate. That's how I build a healthy relationship.
You are being controlling here. Yes, communication is the key in every good relationship, but both sides need to be ready to speak and communicate. If one side is not ready yet, pushing that side is not going to make a healthy communication. Instead, it's going to create an argument. In this case, Damien was not ready. He didn't want to talk about it. What Janina had supposed to do to close the topic at that moment and talk about it the next day. And most importantly, not think about it or worry about this too much.
Yeah, I'm feeling better now.
You weren't too happy with me earlier.
I feel like you're putting me down because you're telling me, I'll give you time, I'll give you space, I'm not gonna dig, and then you dig, push, and then stomp off.
Damien is right. You tell me that I'm going to give you space, I'm going to give you some time, but you never do that. And two people are very different, guys. If you expect other people, your partner, to be exactly like you, you're gonna be wrong. Everybody has different style of communication. Of course, in time, that kind of evolves and you kind of find a middle ground. But in the beginning, it is very deceitful to expect you will have the exact style of communication and the other person's communication style is wrong, but yours is right.
When you said, I want to escape from reality, there's a reason why you said that. And I'm not trying to get something out of you. I'm just trying to understand you. You're closing something.
I feel like Janina thinks in the past, if she could get some kind of clues from her father, mostly, probably, or her mother, she could have stopped that divorce. This is why she's trying hard now to catch those words, what they mean, so that it can prevent it from happening for her own relationship. Again, she's making this from a preventive point of state. Damien confesses something interesting.
You're closing something, and I feel it.
I have a good career, I have a good job, and I sacrificed that coming here.
she feels it because I think she's an empath, like she can feel people. And I don't want to say anything about this without knowing anything about the family. But if there was a divorce, probably there were fights in the house. And what happens with children in a home like that is they learn to read their parents. When are they gonna fight? Or is my mom getting heat up? Or like, is my father getting angry now? Like they watch the faces and all the behaviors of their parents. And this might cause them in the future become empaths and like see some kind of wrong behavior in people's faces, like, or in their body language. I think that's what she's doing.
It scares me not to be able to give you what you deserve and not like to get a place and to possibly lose my job. All that scares me.
It's your own expectations. But it's okay if those change. If they let you go, it's their loss. 100%.
So this is a great example of what happens when you have adult to adult transaction because she's talking about her concerns of the day. He's saying that he didn't realize that she was asking these questions because she cared, but instead he felt questioned, and that's why he kind of backed off, and it's not easy for him to talk about his emotions. And she's more understanding about this, and then she talks more about like, you know, you have something that you're hiding, I feel like you can share with me. And then he shares, he says like, you know, I quit my job or to come here, and you know, that scares me. I'm afraid I can't provide. And she's like, yeah, you know, I'm a grown-up person. I can provide for myself, so don't worry about me. We can do this together. And you know, and then in the end they hug. So that's the adult. There's no child, no parent got involved, no other emotions got involved. Amazing example of a good conversation. In episode 6, there's Barnett's birthday party, and they go there and something happens. Let's watch.
Does it feel pretty natural, like living together now? Like, do you feel like it's pretty comfortable?
I mean, yeah, we've had some difficulties, just like adjusting. More so me, because I'm used to being alone.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Lauren's like a roadblock.
Well,
She's like,
fuck you, damn it. I can see that, you being a lonely, bitter hag.
We all have that friend somewhere in our lives that who makes inappropriate jokes in inappropriate timing. You know, that usually comes from insecurities inside us. If you want to be accepted by others, or if you want to kind of be noticed by others, we kind of make those kind of jokes.
no, I just like,
What is wrong with you? What?
I just like to put a smile on people's faces, and sometimes saying awkward, unconventional things.
Yeah.
That brings out the best in people.
It does.
What's weird is like once he realizes that kind of misunderstood by Lauren, or the joke didn't go through, he didn't apologize. He's like, I'm proud of this. I like to put people in this kind of uncomfortable zone, which is kind of weird. He doesn't apologize, or he doesn't feel bad about this. That kind of makes me think that it worked for him before in other conversations with his dudes maybe, but usually this works with your guy friends, guys, your close friends. If Lauren was your buddy and then you say something like this, that's fine. That's called sarcasm, or you're just kind of giving them a hard time. But Lauren is not your best friend. You barely talk to her, and suddenly you're like, yeah, you're a roadblock. It's just, it can be understood as mean.
And I'm not afraid to do that.
It's great.
Yeah. Is it sarcastic? You mean that?
No, I totally mean that.
Positive
Stop putting her on the spot. I know, like, very awkward.
And he didn't apologize afterwards. He kept going, and even when she's like, oh, that's fine, he goes like, are you being sarcastic? That's kind of pushing it too much, right? It's kind of pushing too hard, Damien. And what Janina does there is like, yeah, stop putting her on the spot. And she leaves the scene. In those kind of situations, guys, please don't think that you are connected in a way that what your partner makes, like a mistake or an awkward comment or something like it, is going to affect you. Okay, we always think that, you know, it will, but actually it doesn't, because you are separate individuals. So you need to not take the responsibility of that awkward comment and, you know, defend your friend to your fiance. leaving the scene without saying anything would be a best choice here, and then afterwards you talking to your fiance would be a better choice. But here she said like stop putting her on spot, and then she left in an angry way. This kind of tells me that in situations that she couldn't handle very much, she used to leave the scene. We have 3 responses to danger, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. And instead of fighting or instead of like freezing, she chose to leave the conversation. I used to do that with my parents. When I get mad at my parents, you know, instead of like fighting with them or instead of like sitting there quietly and taking all in, I would just leave the room and just like bang my door. And this is how I used to deal with things. And I realized I have the same tendency in my adult life too. Now I'm changing it because it's not an effective way to deal with arguments, right? Like you cannot just leave the scene and just bang the door. It's not going to work. So this happens, guys. You know, again, you're going back to your childhood and you're acting like how you reacted, probably your parents like scolding you or fighting with each other, and you just left the scene. And that's what she does here. And let's see what Damien says.
So I didn't stomp off because I had a little bitch fit. I stomped off because I was like, I'm not processing things correctly, so I left.
You said I made things awkward, but all of them were sitting there like, what just happened with her?
Right now, what Damien is doing is gaslighting. You cannot just say that, oh, you know, you left, and now they're saying like, what's happening to her? Nobody said that. So you cannot just say that you left and you make me look awkward there. No. You made yourself look awkward there. That's not Janina's fault. And you cannot blame anybody for their reactions, right?
For you, I didn't feel like it was comfortable, right? So what I said was, that's not what she felt.
How do you know what she felt? You're not Lauren.
Listen to me. Stop interrupting me, please, for the love of God.
Wow, it's getting heated, guys. Well, you can see Gigi being very on the parent ego state right now.
Because I don't like to be in awkward situations, which you willingly do.
The difference is, G, is when things are too good. When things are comfortable, you self-sabotage, as you always say, and you don't care what you destruct in the process. You don't care if you bring me down.
When things are comfortable, you self-sabotage, as you say. That's the problem. Again, gaslighting. Guys, I don't like this. When people use these kind of weaknesses or things that you see as a weakness as a tool in a fight and warming up, bringing up over and over again, I don't like this. Okay, you already told him once that you self-sabotage, right? Don't keep saying these over and over again. Oh, sorry, I did this because I have self-sabotage. Because then you're giving them a tool to use this against you during a fight. Unfortunately, people use this against you. Even the one who loves you will use it against you in a fight like this to win the fight. Because now it's not about let's solve the problem, it's about who's gonna win this fight. And now he's coming all forces and he says like, you know, you're self-sabotaging again. But Damien, no, this whole thing has nothing to do with self-sabotage, just a very bad conversation. They're both accusing each other constantly. That's the critical parent ego state.
If I didn't care about bringing you down, then I would have called you out and I would have been like, that was awkward.
We've talked about this? No, we've talked about it.
Why didn't I do that?
We've talked about it.
Walker, listen to me.
My fucking heart feels like it's breaking right now.
And he leaves the stage with a child ego state. Finally, she broke him because usually in parent transaction, one of them turns child and leaves the conversation. None of them turned into adult ego state, and that's why they couldn't communicate this time. And probably alcohol played a role as well. So I just wanted to show you this, that this is nothing about self-sabotage, but only bad communication. In this case, if Damien was more receptive and ready to listen, I think Janina wouldn't, escalate this much, but she escalates quickly, as we know. If they could leave their parent ego state, they could have a better communication, but unfortunately that didn't work here. The next morning starts with an interesting conversation. Janina says, come hang out with me. It's a child state, right? Come play. Damien says, I just need a minute. This is an adult, okay? You need a minute.
What do we do now?
What do we do now? It's an adult question.
Well, it's hard, G, because, things get heated. I don't like how it's handled.
Like me yelling?
Yeah.
I come from a loud family. We fight a lot. When we fight, we yell. We all yell, so it's normal.
Well, yelling is not normal, guys. Everybody yell. No. Again, maybe this is something that you're used to in your former family, but that's not everybody's normal. And because you don't have that drama or yelling in your life, that doesn't mean that that's not a healthy relationship. Looking for the same patterns, even though they're unhealthy, because you're used to it, kind of thinking that it's healthy, it's a very bad way of looking into a relationship.
Okay, I won't yell at you. But when I'm at my wit's end, everything immediately becomes self-sabotage. Partly because I just didn't know how to communicate things that were really bothering me.
So when you learn to communicate your problems so that you don't self-sabotage yourself, hiding things from your loved ones was one of the ways that we self-sabotage. When we newly practice, we newly learn things, then we do a little extra. So I think what she is doing is here a little bit extra, kind of overreaction. But in time, you will learn how to react to this, how to open up to a person in a more, let's say, adult ego state way.
I've never initiated with you. You've always initiated it with me.
That's the problem. Thank you so much. Why? Why don't you initiate it?
She was like, okay, I'm not gonna yell. And then she starts yelling. I think it's funny.
You don't have to take a great moment and crush it with something because you feel like it's going too good.
Here, unfortunately, Damien again brings up the self-sabotage thing. This is why I'm telling you guys, if you have a problem, if you kind of connect your behavior to your traumas, don't share this with your partner, because your partner is not going to understand this from the same perspective, same point of view, and he or she might use it against you in a fight like this. Not healthy. So I lost my butterflies and I don't know how to get them back, Janina says. So that's the child ego state. And Damien goes like, so you don't love me anymore? That's another child state, like, so you don't love me anymore? I feel like so much up and down. Do you understand? This is Janina's question. It's from the adult state. And then, no, I don't, comes from Damien. This is probably from adult state again. So both of them come to adult ego state, finally. And now, let's see if they're gonna able to make it up or not.
That's it, all cards on the table. I told you it was all gonna come out at once.
Sure came out. I appreciate you opening up and being honest. I feel like it's easier communicating like this, like we're back in the pause, than it is face to face.
Samesies. Whoa.
Again, guys, adult transaction won here. Damien's parents didn't wanna meet Janina because they didn't believe in the experience. And after learning this, in the morning of they were expecting to meet Damien's parents, of course, Janina doesn't take this very easy. She kind of blames Damien in the parent ego.
And that's why, like I was saying, it wasn't you that they didn't want to meet.
You know how your parents are. You knew that this would be a problem. You didn't do anything to prevent it.
Well, it's saying that, hey, you knew this for weeks and you didn't prepare them enough. All the tones that she has here is pretty critical, and she raises her voice again. And that makes me think of when she was a child, that's how parents were communicating with each other, criticizing and with a high-pitched voice.
We knew that when we met our parents, it had to be in this process. You knew that.
I did not know that in the very beginning.
Hello!
Everybody reacts differently.
You've known this for 3 weeks.
What I like about Damien in this conversation, yes, first of all, he's keeping his tone, although we can see that easily that he's also upset, but he kind of calms himself down. I can see that kind of effort in him.
I may not like it, but it's still my family at the end of the day. And I would not disrespect you and your family because it is last minute and it's stressful. And right now, I feel like you're jabbing at my family and I don't appreciate that.
I am not trying.
That's what it feels like.
It feels like you're jabbing my family. I'm like, I'm not doing that, but it feels like that. That's important because when we speak, if we say that you are jabbing my family, no, you are doing it, like that's a different story. When we say it feels like it for me that you are doing this. Do you see the difference? It's a better way of communicating because we are talking about our feelings, which we are 100% sure of. This is an adult ego state, by the way, and quickly it turns Janina into adult state as well.
I'm so over. Like, this was already like a really stressful morning, and I don't want to make it more stressful on you because I know this is really stressful on you. I'm not. But I also think that you should see a bigger picture because it's a really big thing right now. I mean, like... So what, am I just gonna meet them at the wedding?
Janina shows her worries with temper. And that's the thing that, you know, there's this chart, I don't know if you ever saw it, but we tend to show our emotions in different ways. For example, especially men, mostly men, tend to show anger while they're frustrated or they're worried, or let's say they feel insecure. So there are different feelings in themselves, but on the surface it looks like anger only. Like this, I think what Janina is feeling, let's say in the times of worry, in the times of, you know, scared, in the times of hurt, she shows anger, temper. Janina's parents, divorced parents, and her mom's partner also comes and meets Damien and Gigi, and Janina makes a very important speech here.
What makes you think you're ready to get married?
That's what I've been figuring out this whole time. And it freaks me out because I see that it can be not pretty. I don't want to get a divorce. I don't.
She says like, I don't want to get divorced. That kind of, again, talking about her trauma, and this is what she's afraid of. She's speaking it, you know, our words say everything. And she's like, this is why I put Damon through a lot, you know, because she wants to maybe deep down prove that this relationship will not end with a divorce if he puts up with everything that she throws at him.
And I'm showing him everything. Everything. I needed someone strong because I'm a lot, and a lot of people can't handle that.
Her fears are there, and she's aware of it, and she knows that this is why she pushed Damien a lot, and she's like, it's hard to handle me. But don't be hard on yourselves this much, guys. Like, don't say words like it's hard to, you know, handle me and stuff like that, because you're a good person, you're a beautiful person. Why would it be hard to handle you? Like, you're not a punishment, or you're not a bad person. So now they're in the gym. Janina is taking the parent ego state again and saying like, hey, you're not listening to me. Just listen to me, I'm talking to you, you know. Why are you doing this? And let's see how it escalates very quickly.
Okay, so you know how like are you on your phone? See, I don't do that.
We're in the gym, and I was pausing my music because it was still playing. And you make it a big deal. You jump to conclusions. You do it all the time.
Okay, you do it all the time. Don't say that. In a fight, don't use words like never and all the time. That's blaming, that's criticism, and that's a parent ego state. So they're going with parent ego state, and they're blaming each other. It's like, you're always on the phone. No, you're always on the phone.
I'm on my phone a lot
We were having
because
a
I have
conversation,
to walk through my phone.
We were having a conversation, and I had to repeat the same thing to you 4 times. Like, huh? Sorry. Huh? Well, I'm really sorry. I was sidetracked. So.
This is such fucking bullshit.
Swearing is kind of a child behavior, right?
This is literally wasting time.
You make me an option, not a priority.
Jesus.
Communication.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Well, of course, the conversation doesn't go very well. It's like, you make me an option, not a priority. That's a concern that Damien had. And I think she would have heard this better if he didn't throw this in this fight, rather like in a more calm moment. If you want to open up to your partner, don't wait a fight for it, because your partner will be in a defensive mode and they're not gonna hear you. They're not gonna hear you well. So I think he had a valid point, but this was not the argument to bring that up. And here what I see is Janina starting a fight over Damien looking at his phone. One of the ways that we self-sabotage, if you remember, is starting a fight out of nowhere from a reason just like this. And the reason this conversation didn't end well, because they kept switching between parent and child ego states. They could not meet on their adult states. I'm telling these things so that you can kind of watch yourself and your conversations in real lives as well and try these on your own. This is the only reason I'm trying to teach you the transactional analysis right now on a very basic level. And in this fight too, if you realize, she left the gym. This is how she ended the conversation. Again, this goes back to the child state. When you were a child, probably you were running away from the environment to handle this difficult situation, difficult trauma, or maybe argument or fight that you were in. At the altar, Janina says yes, and Damien says, no, I don't. And he says that I think we need more time. And of course, Janina, that we know, doesn't take this very well. Anger, right? I mean, it's not easy to be dumped at the altar, of course, and in front of your family and your friends. Good news is, after this day, they decide to date again, and for a year or so, they will be dating and they will be happy together. Unfortunately, they're not together anymore. And in episode 12, where the party is, we see that Damien brings another girl to the party. Janina is shocked to see this.
Me and Francesca are friends, and like, you should be able to trust that. Nobody's out to get Giannina. You want me to be a part of your life?
I just don't trust you.
The fact that you would even say that says enough.
Yeah, it does.
No, and that's bullshit.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
He has some serious issues.
And what I see in 2 years, I think the relationship dynamic changed a lot. Relationships change us. If our relationship is making us a better person, then we are in a good relationship. If our relationship is making us worse than before, then definitely we need to get out of that relationship as soon as possible. I hope this video was helpful, guys. If you haven't watched my analysis on other Love is Blind characters, they are here for you. Pick one. Please don't forget to comment on this video, share, and also subscribe. Bye.